이 위대한 구원. 크로스포인트 주니어 처치에서 전해드리는 이 시간, 담당의 Darin Pantley 형제입니다.
Hello, this is Darin Pantley from Crosspoint Bible Church. Do you remember learning addition and subtraction? 1 plus 1 equals 2. 5 minus 2 equals 3. -7 plus 3 equals -4. If you think about it, when we were just getting started, it didn't make a lot of sense. That's why students sometimes ask, when am I ever going to use this? Do I have to learn multiplication? When am I ever going to need to know 3 times 17? Division looks really useless. Imagine if you told your teacher, I hereby declare, in my infinite wisdom as a 7-year-old, I am going to stop here. I don't need to know any more math. Addition and subtraction are enough. But your teachers were older and more experienced. They knew if you stopped there, you would never learn about decimals and fractions. You wouldn't be able to read the price tags in stores, or understand the receipt when it says you paid 10% sales tax. So our teachers required us to keep learning, to push on, even though we didn't know where we were going or what would come next. We had to trust our teachers and assume there was some point in learning about the Pythagorean theorem. It's tempting to say, I will study math once I understand why we are studying it. But to fully understand why certain types of math are needed, you have to understand the fundamentals. You must study simple math before you can discuss moderately complex math. And you must study complex math before you can discuss the parts of math that aren't even figured out yet. The field of mathematics is actually quite large. Functions and graphs, limits, derivatives and integrals, matrices, vectors, eigenvalues, partial differential equations, continuity, number theory, etc., etc. So it's fair to ask, when will I ever use this? But the only people who ever find an answer to that question are the people who jump in and learn what they can. Jesus talked about this in the book of Mark, chapter 4. It's called the Parable of the Lamp. Jesus is talking to a large crowd of people, and his disciples are there too. Then Jesus asked them, would anyone light a lamp and then put it under a basket or under a bed? Of course not. A lamp is placed on a stand where its light will shine, for everything that is hidden will eventually be brought into the open, and every secret will be brought to light. Anyone with ears to hear should listen and understand. I think at this point, many people in the crowd must have been wondering, what is this guy talking about? He's starting with the basics, like someone teaching addition and subtraction. They don't fully understand, but if they keep listening, they can begin to understand. Then he added, pay close attention to what you hear. The closer you listen, the more understanding you will be given, and you will receive even more. To those who listen to my teaching, more understanding will be given. But for those who are not listening, even what little understanding they have will be taken away from them. Have you been listening to the teaching of Jesus? Have you been paying attention? Have you started to gain an understanding? Just like people study mathematics, some people study Christianity. They learn about the prophets, the promises of God, salvation, sanctification. Jesus didn't ask us to write a doctoral thesis about the Trinity. He simply said, we need to learn the basics first, before he can give us more understanding. If you're still a little confused about what it means to put your faith in Jesus, that's okay. That's why we call it faith. We start the journey before we have it all figured out, based on what we know right now. God showed his great love for us by sending Christ to die for us while we were still sinners.
지금까지 크로스포인트 주니어 처치에서 전해드렸습니다. 언어와 문화의 장벽을 없애고 실시간 동시 통역이 제공되는 크로스포인트 주니어 처치의 주일 예배 시간은 오전 11시이며 교회에 대한 안내는 847-212-6775로 문의해 주시길 바랍니다.